Yeah, hi, good evening to everyone. My name is Nitin, and I'm from Sickle Innovations. We are into horticulture mechanization. What we do is we go to the farms and find out what is required, and based on that, we develop solutions. Um, our one of the businesses is about grading sorting, and grading sorting is basically removing the unwanted and splitting them into different grades as per the different requirements also of the different markets, and then selling them. So I'll just give a very brief introduction about our company, and then I'll get into grading sorting. Uh, what we do is basically we do three sort of services and products. Like one is the hand tools, which I told you under the brand Hectare we do. So under this brand, we have various hand tools which are, easing the process of, let's say, harvesting or crop protection devices are there. And then you have weeding devices. So what it does, it increases the efficiency of the farmers and it removes the skill requirement. So what we are replacing is the skill, not the labor. So labor is still there. So if you see, lot of casual labor, but agriculture is a very, skilled labor intensive job. So in any certain activity which is related to horticulture, so it requires a lot of skilled labor, and that is exactly what we do with our tools. Let's say a person cannot climb the tree to harvest mangoes. With our tool, he can do that job without knowing the skill to climb up the tree, and they can harvest the mangoes from the ground itself. So like this, we have different products, different harvesting devices, weeding devices under the brand Hectare we sell. And then the second business, what we do is a grading sorting solution where we take images of each fruit, we make it pass through camera, we take different images, different parameters we pick, and based on that we do grading automatically so that a farmer or whoever is using this, so they can sell their different produces in different markets as per the need of the market. We also work with the very large corporates on different problems. We work with them on their problems. We develop new products and we give it to them, or we launch in the open market. Over the period, we have won a lot of awards, and the most awards are basically for because of our innovation, the design process which we have, and this design process is basically is what leading to all this new innovations. We can maybe talk about design process in the end if you have any questions.
किसानों की आमदनी को दुगना करना, किसान की समृद्धि को
So
बढ़ाना,
recently,
किसान को आसान
our
तरीके से ऋण उपलब्ध
grading
कराना
sorting
और किसान
solutions
सम्मान
were
निधि के माध्यम से
featured by
आर्थिक रूप से
PMO.
किसानों को मजबूत बनाने का
So this is
जो
Apple
लगातार
grading machine.
प्रयास और कार्य केंद्र सरकार की तरफ से चल रहा है.
So now I'll come to the topic of the day, which is grading sorting. So when we say grading sorting, these are two different words. Sorting is basically the process of removing the unwanted or unsuitable fruit or vegetable from the lot, from the market. When we are sending it to market, a farmer is bringing their produce to a pack house. So we are removing all the unwanted, or which are like not the right fit, or the which are spoiled, so that they do not spoil the others, and also the overall value of the produce is not compromised. Like there could be mechanical injuries, there will be insect bites will be there, a lot of diseases are there. Sometimes there'll be over mature, over ripened fruits will be there, they will ripe the others also. So all these things can be removed, and generally this process is done manually. And this is very critical process. If you leave some of the rotten one inside, it will rot the other also. Now I'll come to the second part, which is grading. So first sorting is done, and then grading is takes place. It can be done simultaneously also, but in a normal, in a typical process, this is what happens. So in a typical grading, what happens is the grading. The definition of the grading is arrangement of fruits into different groups by separating from a fruit lot is called grading. Now that separation can be based on different parameters. That different parameter can be size, that can be weight. For example, mangoes, which are graded based on weight. There is shape-based grading. For example, a cucumber, which is graded based whether it is a longer one or it is an elongated one. So they can be separated. Then capsicum is there, where if there is any odd shape, that has to be removed, or a decent shape, straight ones are graded separately. Then color based grading is also done. Let's say for tomatoes, you want to you produce a few tomatoes, and then you want to sell it to different markets. Let's say the local market is where you can sell it for sell the ripened one, which are more ripened. You can sell it to the local market, and the one which are little yellowish, that you can send it to the markets which are little far away. So their shelf life will be maintained, and by the time it reaches there, it will be safer. Then there are external defects, there are internal defects as well. Now, the grading part, most of it is done automated now. It could be mechanical machines where the size-based grading takes place, or more advanced machines like ours, where you have image processing technology, where based on that you are doing the grading. So, why are we doing this grading, right? So, uh, first of all, we have to make sure you see this image in the left side image, the top image. You see each there is a tomatoes which are separated. The elongated one are separate, the round one are separate, and then you have the cherry tomatoes. They are anyways separate only, but then there is a color based also differentiation is there. And the bottom image which you see is it's all mixed. Okay, so what will happen is, let's say you're going to, whoever is doing grading sorting is going to make money. If I'm going to the ready wala morning, I'll pick the best ones from the ready, and I'm doing grading. So the advantage of grading is going in my pocket. And imagine if that grading sorting can be taken as closer to the farm, so the farm income can be increased. So uh, this is one direct advantage or objective of grading of all the agriculture produce. Then it also helps in transportation. As I was telling you, like if the tomatoes, if the one which are not fit for longer distance, so that can be graded and that can be removed, and they should not be sent for a longer distance. Let's say if you are checking a firmness, or you're checking a ripeness level of any particular fruit, let's say mangoes are there, right? If they are over ripened, you should not be sending it for very far, or you should be able to send it, you should be able to sell it faster. So this is one another advantage of why the grading should be done. And grading, the advantage of the one biggest advantage is it is win-win for everybody. So for me as a seller, is also it is advantage, because I'll be able to sell it at different prices, different markets. I'll be able to make more profit. And from the buyer point of view, he will also be getting the right thing, whatever he is looking for, and he will come back to you again. And Uh, also, what happens is when people start exporting their produce, when they start taking it to international markets. So then one biggest challenge which they face is that, our grading system, if the grading systems are not defined, so you'll not be able to sell your produce at the right price. You'll not be able to get the right value of your produce in an international market. So if the grading is done, those standards are maintained, and when you take those standards very closer to the international standard, so that practice will help you sell your produce in the international market as well, very easily. And uh, the if your standards are maintained of your quality, your grading parameters, and then you will start getting more business, and that becomes a very easy entry to the new market. So I'm sure the objective of grading. Nobody would be questioning why the grading has to take place. So let me go a little technical. I'll not spend too much of time on this, but it is very important. So basically, in any grading process, grading sorting is basically a primary processing activity. It is the first line of processing which takes place. So, for example, if we are doing processing of any fruit or vegetable, so the first thing which we will do is you will grade and sort. That is why it is called primary processing. And for that, what you have to do is you have to bring the produce to the in this whole process of grading sorting, and that is called in-feed. So that in-feed could be dry dumping, wet dumping, manual dumping. There could be any n number of processes. I'll not get into this. Then you have primary processing, which will be like required to help the efficiency of grading. For example, if you want to see apples, the colors of apple, what is the percentage of redness in the apples? So you would want to rotate the apples in 360 degree, and you want to make sure that the apple which you are putting in the image are clean. So for that, what you will do is you will first remove the all the unwanted apples which are like completely rotten. That can be done manually. Then washing can take place to make sure that there is no dust. Polishing in some cases, let's say for kinnus or oranges, where all the citrus crop where you have to enhance the shelf life, so you apply a coat of wax. So for that, polishing and drying is required after you put the wax layer on top of the citrus crop. And once you do this primary processing, then the part comes of the grading. And the grading can be done on based on very various parameters which I have highlighted earlier. So it could be based on the color, size, shape, weight. So all those the parameters have to be defined or have to be considered based on some technology. For example, we will have to take images of each fruit to determine what is the size of the fruit or vegetable and what is the color of the fruit or vegetable. And that can be done in different ways. You can do one side imaging. You can also do in where you can rotate the fruit and you can take multiple images on all the sides. So generally one side images are done for vegetables. For example, if it is tomato or even cucumber. So even if you take image from the one side, it is fine. It is not going to make much difference. But if it is apple, in the case of apple, you'll have to take images from all the sides. If it is orange, you have to take image from all the sides, because the color variation across the skin of individual fruit of this category varies a lot. Then we also have to weigh it, and for weighing we use various load sensors. So what we do is we isolate the fruit from the machine, and we lift it a little up and we weigh it. So there are different techniques of doing it, and that is the most complicated engineering of all these grading machines. So, and that has to be done in a dynamic condition. So when the fruit is moving at a speed of 7 to 8 fruit per second, at that speed you are weighing individual fruit, and you are grading based on that weight as a parameter. So that is another second parameter, and then comes the size. So size is defined in different fruit or vegetables in a very different way. So let's say if I take an example of orange. So orange, you would see that it is not never a round shape. It is along the diameter. It will be a little higher diameter, and along the length from the top where it is having the stalk. So that diameter will be less. So which size you're taking, which diameter you're taking. So all those parameters have to be defined. It varies from fruit to fruit. For example, kiwis, if you want to take. So kiwis are graded based on the shape, whether it is round or elongated. So this is a different grading parameter. So it depends on the international standard and the market requirement. Sometimes the market requirement might be they don't want to based on grade based on the weight. They just want to weigh based on the images, on the color and the size. So for that, that kind of solution is developed. And then the most important part, which so far has not been very popular in our country, is the internal defects. If I take example of mangoes, so a lot of our lots which are exported to US and other countries are rejected if they are having internal damages. So internal damages, sometimes you have spongy tissues. So you might have seen, between the mangoes, there will be some part, some tissues which will not be as sweet as the normal mango, and it will be very spongy. So, that is something which has to be detected without damaging the fruit. And it has to be done while, it is on the machine, as it is running through the machine. So there are different technologies which are available, using which we can identify whether that particular fruit is having that internal damage. Sometimes there are insects which are there inside the fruit, which is not visible from outside, but using technology you can find out if it is infected from inside. Sometimes the seed, there is another problem. Jelly seed is another problem in mangoes, where the seed, around the seed, there is a very gel sort of structure is developed. So that is also not accepted in the international markets. So that is something is not desired. So for that also grading is very important. If it can be pre-graded, then your material will get extra value. You can sell with the more confident. Uh, and once the fruit is graded on the machine, then it has to be discharged. So that discharge can take place in different ways based on your practice, your pack house operations. It can be in the collection trays where you are, picking by one with the hand and you're putting in the boxes, or it can be in the belts, like, individual grade when you have higher capacities, when you want to pack a large number of fruits in particular grade. So you'll need a lot of people to work on this for packing. So you will need cross belts, longer cross belts, which can, on which the fruit will keep coming and you'll keep on packing. And the most advanced technology in this is direct packing. So where the packing also can be automated by using machines, so on which we are also working. We are doing a commercial pilot where apples can be packed. It can be rotated. The red part of the apple and the stalk can be positioned in a particular position, desirable position, and then it can be packed. So that part can also be automated along with the grading. So, but these are the four uh, primary steps which are required in any grading process or any grading machinery. So this is one just example. You'll see this black color box. What you see is a vision box. Inside we have cameras which are taking images of the apples which are passing out, and this is for imaging. So I'll just this whole this thing. I'll just show you an example of Apple, and then I'll show you a video, and then I think we will close for the questions. Um, So the typical flow in, like, what happens in reality, this is what we have seen in theory. What happens in the grading. The first part which you see here is, let me just draw here. So this is feeding system. It could be either wet or dry dumping. Wet dumping means you're putting in the water. So the fruit is being dumped in the water. So there is no mechanical injury to the fruit because it is water. So it will push the other apples which are underneath it to the water, and there won't be any mechanical injury to the fruit. Then second is sorting. As I said, like, sorting is generally done manually because the different defects, different people have different parameters of sorting. And then after it is sorted, it goes to the brushing unit. So this brushing unit cleans and removes any unwanted soil, any leaves are there, and it gives a shine to the produce, so that when you're taking it to the market, you'll get extra value of the same produce. So the presentation becomes good. So here you have different sort of brushes which are used for brushing of the apples. These are nylon brushes. Then you have horsehair brushes, which are rotating at a fixed RPM, and it gives that shine to the fruits and cleans and gives that shine. And while it is drying the apples, there are fans on the top which make sure that the brushes which are there, they are dried also, so that if the brushes are wet, so the you'll not get shine. So it has to be continuously cleaned. The moisture has to be removed. For this, you can use cold air dryer. Sometimes people use hot air also. So we have those solutions also where we provide hot air where the outside temperature is very less, and the apples are not drying. So we can use hot air as well also. Then the most important part which comes if we have to feed through a channel on which the camera is mounted. So we have to singulate the whole system. So for singulation, we use, in this case, we use a V belt. So there are two belts which are running parallelly at a different speeds. So what it does, it aligns all the fruits in a single lane, and it also makes sure that two fruits are not going together. So it singulates them. And once it is done, then it goes to our electronic grader, which on which the fruit is rotating. It is weighed, which I was telling you earlier, and it also where you do the 360-degree imaging of individual fruit. So from this part, this is the vision chamber where it ends, and when it comes to particular grade, the chain which is bringing it here, so within that time, a computer has to take the decision key on which grade we have to put it, and that parameter we only define. We define key in this exit, I'll put a particular grade. Let's say I want grade A, which is more than 90 mm in diameter, which is having color percentage of more than 80%, and which is having weight more than 90 grams. So this is one quality which I have decided, and I will say in my particular first exit, only those apples should come which pass through these three parameters. And once you put that, those apples will start coming there, and then you can pack those apples. So imagine when you are packing those apples and when you're selling with that confidence that all apples are of same quality. So the your produce value will increase tremendously. So it is told ki in any typical grading sorting process, 20 to 30% income can be, increased only by this process, by just grading and sorting. So this was about grading sorting of apples. So like, for the same case, you have a different flow for citrus. In case of any citrus crop, what you do is you have so this case we use dry dumping because you don't have to put it in the water, and the sorting again is done manually. Then you use brushes along with the water sprinklers on the top. So in this case, you'll see it is not dumped into water. So water is sprinkled on the top, and then you dry it with the fans, cold air, and then you also dry with the hot air. So because it has to be waxed. So next, what we do is we apply wax on top of it. There is a wax pump, and there are horsehair in the bottom. So it spread wax, and as the fruits are passing through this chamber, they get some wax. So, but this wax is the nature of wax is that it has to be dried. So we use large tunnels through which the fruit is passing, and we dry the fruit from all the sides, making sure that the wax which is applied on the citrus is dried. So it creates a protecting layer on top of the kinus. So you imagine till this point you have just doing the processing, and after this you will do the active grading. Now once the produce is ready to be seen, that after this complete waxing, now you will the computer, when the camera is seeing taking the images, so any defect will be seen very clearly. So then it can be graded based on again the same parameters whatever you have. So you can see that this is how fruit comes and this is how it leaves. So this is the difference. How much difference it is creating only in the pre-processing, and then grading will also another add more value. And in this case, we have online packing system, which I was talking about. So where you have large conveyors which are coming out, and people are standing here on the sides, and they are packing on the crates or boxes, whatever is the case. So I think I'll stop here, and let me just quickly uh, show you a video of the machine, so that you will get a visual idea what kind of machines we are talking about, and then we will open floor for the questions. Listen.
We're also proud that we think some countries have in-house hardware and software development and production. Our research and design team is led by graduates from the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and scientists from ISRO. We are on a mission to reduce fruit losses and make backhouse businesses profitable using indigenous technologies and innovations which have been appreciated by the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi. Our innovative solutions include handling extremely delicate fruits like strawberries, small potato tuber seeds, high-value apples, lemons, oranges, mangoes, pomegranates, and kiwi. We have also pioneered a single machine which is capable of grading up to 18 fruits and vegetables. We can segregate fruits and vegetables based on their color, size, shape, weight, external defects, and internal quality by grading this level. With manufacturing plants located in Ahmedabad and Hyderabad, we are able to deliver machinery anywhere in a short time. Our pan-India service network ensures a less than 24 hours show time anywhere in the country. Marsh Agri is a true made in India brand problem-solving approach for your back-house operation. Marsh Hatter, promoted by Single Innovations Private Limited.
Are you reading so well, sir?
Yeah, so I'll stop here.
Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful presentation. I will take up the questions now. First question is, how does grading and sorting machinery ensure consistent quality standards for fruits and vegetables?
So, ma'am, do we have any audience which are are these audience questions?
But these are questions posted by the audience offline and also some questions from our editorial team, sir.
Okay. Yeah, please, can you repeat the question again?
Yes. How does grading and sorting machinery ensure consistent quality standards for fruits and vegetables?
I think that is exactly what I have answered. By making sure, by making use of this technology, of any technology, by grading, sorting, what you do is you divide the produce in different segments based on the needs of different markets. And once you are fulfilling their needs, so it is a win-win for both the parties, for the buyer and seller. And this is what, it increases the value of the crop as well as the profits for the sellers.
How does the ability to sort the fruits and vegetables according to size, color, and other attributes enhance their marketability?
Uh, because it is all driven by the customer demand. Once the customer is looking for nowadays, they are looking for much more, I would say, equal weight, equal looking, same looking fruits or vegetables. So that is what is driving the complete requirement for grading sorting.
Okay. In what ways do grading and sorting machines contribute to maintaining hygiene and ensure food safety standards?
Sorry, can you come again?
In what ways do grading and sorting machines contribute to maintaining hygiene and ensure food safety standards?
Yeah, so once you make a machine, when you make a process, so it is basically, ensuring that, all the processes are taking place. For example, if it is a manual grading, so you don't know whether the people have washed it or not. But if you are doing it through a grading machine, so the produce will always be washed. And once we are designing the machinery, sometime even if the client is not asking, so we suggest ki what all parameters have to go into this, and those are all international parameters. So it by design itself, all those processes take place, and since those processes are taking place, the hygiene will also be ensured.
Okay. How has Sickle Innovations contributed to the local agricultural ecosystem in your place?
We have, by using all these technologies, we have reached to more than 2 lakh farmers. Let's say for our grading sorting machinery, also we have supplied to FPOs who have, used this machinery for their produce. They have given it for services. A lot of farmers who have purchased this, they have given it for services to the other farmers also. So the farm income is directly, the impact what we have for us, the impact metrics, the biggest impact metrics is the direct income increment in the farmer's life. And 20 to 30% is the direct income generation which we have done extra for the farmers who have used our technologies of grading sorting.
Okay. Can you share any success stories or testimonials from farmers or other stakeholders who have benefited from your products or services?
Yeah. For example, I can give you, I quote an example of one of the FPOs who have been using our machine. They are based out of Haryana. So there was a very large fund which was provided. to FPOs in Haryana to strengthen their pack houses and to help them with this technology, post harvest technologies. So this particular FPO, Khari Surera FPO, so they have got one machine designed by us, the whole plant of waxing, drying, and grading of canoes. And with the help of this plant, they are able to attract lot of buyers who have now come there, because they know that since the machinery is there, so the produce which is going to come out is going to meet their international standards, or even the market standards. So that surety brought lot of attracted lot of buyers to that place, and they built a brand out of it now. And it has been very successful FPO, one of the most successful FPOs in Haryana.
Okay. Does Sickle Innovations collaborate with any government agencies, research institutes, or other companies?
Yeah, we do collaborate at a different levels as on when required. For example, we have collaborated with some of the center of excellences to help them design very efficient pack houses. So as on when required, we have done those collaboration.
Okay. Could you tell us about your company's approach to research and development?
Ma'am, these questions looks like very essay type questions. Like if you have any very specific questions, I would love to answer.
Okay, sir. Okay. I will just move on to the next one. Sir, how does these machines help mitigate risks associated with contamination and spoilage during processing?
Yeah. So it is similar to the other question which you asked. How does it maintain the hygiene? But yes, contamination, how it can remove is the sorting which is being done, right? So when you pass it through our machine, so you have a very good lighting. People can see it from the fruits traveling on all the sides. So your the sorting efficiency will increase tremendously. That will make sure that there's no contamination which is going, or there is no rotten one which is going in the good lot. And so you can control the damages, the fruit loss.
Okay. Think we are done with the questions, sir. Any other points you would like to add on, sir?
Now I just want to know how many attendees are there, what is their
Sir, actually, we post your meeting link in our website, sir. There are participants who will post queries before also. And
Acha.
also the recordings of the meetings will be available in our website, sir. So participants will look into your recordings and they will get back to you if they are having any requirements, sir.
Okay,
At present,
okay,
there are no participants, sir. Okay.
okay. I got your point. Okay.
Okay. Anything else you would like to add on, sir?
No, that's all.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you very much. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank Mr. Nitin Kumar for the talk and for answering the questions. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you.
You're most welcome, sir.